Welcome to Insights. I'm Eric. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. I want to do a quick update on a few markets. A little busy this weekend, but we'll get to talking about the things that need to be addressed. There's a lot of things going on. I can see it on the preliminary update within the matrix. I'll have to update mine to get a better look at what's taking place. One thing that stands out in particular is the crypto space, and so we're going to do a short update to the report here. Just address some of the things that we're noticing. Some of the things that we've talked about in previous reports and review updates is that Bitcoin's movement through the evolution of trade, which is triple down the X bar, which is right here, and that's 1.22 for Ethereum, and 1.29 is it's moving up higher, and that's doing so because the 3 time frames are showing cycle extension. I have this arrow here, highlights the price cycle for the bear, BR for bear. Here's the time cycle. They're not quite as extended, but even at 48 days, they're starting to push. They're getting close to extension as well. The weekly time cycles, they're over here. They're at 1.6 and roughly about 0.5 for the two of them, 1.5. So they're getting a little bit extended too. And I think the take-home message here is here's the daily or the monthly, which is the primary trend. That's what the evolution of the trade follows. Bitcoin's been down for 6 months. The time cycles are not extended, but the price cycle is 1.4. It's not bolded red because it's not above 2, but it's pretty high. And this market is likely going to get some type of snapback rally at some point. We're going to take a look at the reversals, but we're also going to take a look at the energy build, which we have here for Bitcoin. It's 77, 11, and 5, and that in itself is it's quite disturbing. It's disturbing if you're bullish, and I'm pretty sure nobody really wants to hear that when we're doing this, but we do these reports to talk about the invisible hand and the message of the market. We're not here to sell narratives about what we think Bitcoin or Ethereum is going to do. The primary trends flipped down 4 months and 6 months ago, and they're up to almost 300% and 110. That's some of the tops in the matrix. So I really don't care what your belief structure is. You can make a lot of money on this stuff to the downside. I remember when we took out, we had talked about this in the reversals, and we go to the reversal tab. I remember saying 27.47, which is right here. I said that when the price fell below that Bitcoin was going to take an ass beating, and that's exactly what it's doing. And now we look, we're well below that part. We're working through the 13 handles now, and they're pushed above. You can see them here. This one's pushed above, this one's pushed above. And then we've got a whole new set at 11, and if we zoom in here, you can see all that. Take a chance to pull it in, tighten it up. There's 11 handle goes down to 1120 up to 1165. We're currently at 1247. I think the real concern is if it doesn't hold here, what's below that. The next number is 0.79, and and there's one at 1.57. That's pretty far down. It can take place. This could be. I know everyone's soothing themselves based on this is just a normal correction. And perhaps it is a normal correction, and then it takes off to the moon. But the things that I'm going to be looking at in terms of that is how it moves through the evolution of the trade, which is discussed here. We have an alignment down, we follow energy, and we're going to take a look at that energy right now. So if you want to click this link, you can pull up your chart. I'm going to pull up a more interactive chart for this stuff so we can take a look at it. And let me see if I can find this file. Hopefully it comes up here. My computer's getting moved around a lot, and I have the version of the matrix that we look at here for these discussions. I have other versions of them, and I haven't updated them quite yet. So here's Bitcoin's energy build. It's 77, 11, and minus 5. 11 is the key take-home point. And what we've seen is a downward movement. We've seen a downward movement in price and a downward movement in energy, which is a bit concerning. And that's what we've been talking about that for weeks and months now. If we tighten this up and narrow it down, you can see that even as prices decline, we don't have much of an energy bill. Energy has moved up a little bit from the low. It's up to 11. I think I'm going to point out one aspect of it here. As price fell from 1868 to 12, DI jumped only from 9 to 11, and that is a real concern. It's higher, but it's not much higher. That type of price decline, which was it's pretty high, you can, if we jump back to the matrix quickly here, and we take a look at these impulses. These impulses are tracked somewhere in here. The Bitcoin's current impulse is up 123%. Now, that's slightly lower than Bitcoin's total primary trend, but that just shows you how strong this impulse is and how fast it's dropped. And so what the computer is focusing on, and what's worried about, is the fact that we dropped a lot. We did like a waterfall decline, and yet DI only skimmed the bottom of the surface a little bit and jumped from 9 to 11. That's pretty hum-ho. And the other concern is that as we've been sliding down, we didn't even get volume to 100 200% yet. I mean, we're still at 77. That's a bit of a concern. You want to see this number uh, pinned at 200 or at 100, and we're only at 77, and that means everybody's participating, and that's the real concern. And if I make a couple modifications to the energy build itself, you can see the big spikes, and I'll pull the other one. We normally look back, and if I move this back, and we can see where real buying takes place on the bull side. I'll just select the bulls, narrows it down, and if I make even more where there's a lot of fear, you can see where good buying opportunities come. We're still flatlining even though price is declining, so that tells me that there's really no bottom here for Bitcoin. And the problem is if you don't sell a bullish narrative, everyone cancels you out or ignores your conversation. But I'm telling you, then if you're selling a bullish narrative, you're doing the wrong thing. Perhaps Bitcoin turns around. There's some real fundamental risks that are out there in the real world that no one's really talking about. But again, I'm not going to jump into that because I don't want to get pushed to the side with some of the people that are really aggressive bears or bulls, because I mean, they've been saying that for years. And perhaps they'll be right, bullish or bearish. But the point of this stuff is to learn how to follow uh, the, the three time frames and the fractal trends rather than to give the opinions about where this is going fundamentally. Bitcoin is currently in trouble. It's dropping and made a gap down, and we saw almost no energy build into that. So I don't, whatever you want to make of that. If you're bullish still and thinking that this is going to bottom, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. I mean, and I say that because the energy build and the invisible hand's not stepping into the breach. You need to see that, and you're going to need one heck of an energy build in order to turn this trend. It takes time to do that, and you're probably months away from establishing that even as we speak. If you have any questions about Bitcoin, let us know. I mean, we're not here to argue or say anything about which it should be, bullish or bearish. It is just what it is. So now's the time to ask. I would ask before, before your whatever position that you're maintaining, before it gets destroyed. It's getting a little bit late to adjust. It's a little bit late to short. You can't do that with any of these cycles here. This thing resets again, comes back up and curls back over. It's going to go, and we're going to watch energy while it does all that. So thanks for watching. Keep an eye on this and keep an eye on Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.